You'll come to love the Bolivian culture. Like the Bolivian people, they're so awesome. Like I said, there's those two different kind of cultures in Bolivia, and you'll see how they're different. They have certain aspects that are different, and sometimes the two different cultures can actually kind of clash with each other. Sometimes they kind of like have different like political views or stuff like that. But I mean, it doesn't matter if they're from Santa Cruz or if they're from La Paz. Like they're still such good people, and really like they're really open to listen to the gospel. I mean, if you just say that you have a message about Jesus Christ, like they're most likely going to hear you out, just because everyone down there is Catholic and they believe in God, and so they'll listen to you, and they think that like hearing about God is good, and so they want the blessings that you have to give them, like they have that basic understanding, and so they're a lot more open to it. One thing that is really, really cool is like they're very generous. The people are super generous. And like you'll be walking around, and knocking on doors and talking to people in between lessons and stuff, and you'll get really tired and it's really hot. And so you just like want something to drink. And like whenever you go into somebody's house, they always offer you something to drink, like almost always. And so sometimes it's water, sometimes it's like some other drink, mocochinchi, chicha, soya, whatever. And then most of the time they offer you soda, which is awesome. Like, almost everyone in Bolivia has like 2 liters of Coke. And so you'll come over and you'll come into their house and they'll ask if you want something to drink. You say yes, and then they'll just bring out a 2 liter and they'll just fill up your glass. And if you drink it all the way, they'll fill it up to the top again. So like, they're really good. Like that's something that just like kind of shows how generous they are. Honestly, like that happens all the time. It's super cool that they're so generous. If they do offer you food, they kind of expect you to eat as much as you can, So just eat as much as you can. If it's something you don't like, struggle through it, but just do it for them, because a lot of the times, like, they don't have much, Like, even the families that live in those tiny wooden shacks, when you come into their house to teach them, they'll have their kid run to the store and bring back a 2 liter Coke. So like that's a lot of cash for them, but they'll do it anyways because they just understand the importance of generosity. One of the things that you do in Santa Cruz is it's just kind of the way that the people have set up their houses. They'll have their house, and then they have the yard that surrounds their house, and then there will be a giant wall that's around their whole property. So you can't really see their house, and when you're on the street, it's just like a street of walls, And each house has like their door, and so you can knock on their door, and they'll come out, and then you can start talking to them. And if you're in a poorer area, a lot of the times they don't have money to build walls around their houses, and so basically they'll just have like a wooden shack, and then they'll have their yard, and then they'll just put up like a barbed wire fence around their yard. And so you can't really like knock on their door because their door is just made out of wood. And so like it's really common to just kind of like knocking on doors is just like you clap your hands, and people will hear you, and they'll kind of like poke their heads around the corner, to see who's there. And then you can tell them to come on over, and they'll walk over and start talking to you, And honestly, like if you were to spend like the whole day doing contacting and just like knocking on doors, you could easily get into like 6 or 7 houses a day, which, I mean, compared to other places, that's incredible, So that is definitely like, it's a big blessing for being in Santa Cruz. Just by knocking on doors, you'll have opportunities to teach. That doesn't mean that they're like super sincere or anything, but I mean, at least they'll let you in, and at least you have that opportunity to teach them something. And maybe you'll leave an impression on them later on that, other missionaries will be able to take advantage of that,